Thank you for coming to my channel, Compass Starlight. This is going to be a recording, like a diary, if you will, just how I'm feeling the energy currently. And of course it includes an analogy, because I like that kind of thing, and an experience to display that analogy, to portray it, whatever. Last week I was helping someone out and transporting something for this individual down in the commercial seaport. But while I'm there at the seaport, I'm looking at the commercial fishing vessels, and I noticed that a lot of them have these weights or counterweights at the top of these masts, if you will. They're not sailboats, they're fishing vessels, and I don't know that they're called masts. I just noticed that they're there. There are these weights at the top of these masts. And it made me think about this analogy that I've been thinking about for the past few days. A large vessel with density, the ability to displace water, charting the seas, the open seas. And when a storm comes, there are large swells on the ocean, and the ship lists and sways as it moves along in the water. The weights help balance the boat, help keep it from tipping over entirely, I believe. Now, when I was a less mature human being and I was experiencing stormy seas and my ship was rocking back and forth, it's like, oh no, chaos, slippery deck, you're gonna slide off, hold on to something quick. There's where attachment comes in, fear, lack of confidence, not trusting oneself. But it manifested in chaos, that, oh crap, things are going a little crazy. And having to struggle to rebalance, to bring things back into balance. As I've matured through my life, it's much easier to keep myself balanced. And my peace is really important to me. But lately, I've been finding that the slightest request from outside of in here pulls me off center just a little bit. And I consume a lot of content, I admit it, probably to my detriment, but I consume a lot of content, and I have just kind of let it go in one ear and out the other sometimes, unless it's something that mattered to me or something with which I aligned. Lately, man, I cannot. I'm just like skipping on to the next one, because it's really hard for me to stick with something I'm not in full alignment with. But when it comes to people and outside sources putting requests on me, I'm really finding that A, I don't want to do it. I'm focused inward on myself. And B, it's just swaying me a little bit. And thankfully, I have a good center. I can keep myself balanced. But I'm still noticing, like, the tip of an antenna is a little shaky up there, more so than the base. Up there. So it bothers me. It bothers me that something outside of myself is almost like trying to shake me from this inner stability and harmony that I have within. But it's not chaos like it would have been in my youth. I don't find anything really throws me off the way things did in my youth. Throws me off from center, throws me off from my balance. No. Things might bother me or make me sad, even make me happy. I've never been one to be like, oh my god. I'm pretty consistently right down the line. So that's good. I do feel pretty well centered. But I am also noticing this sense of solitude. I am a very solitary individual, so it shouldn't be anything new to me. I think what I'm noticing, however, is the dissatisfaction with what's out there. And I know that we're in a time where we need to be focusing on ourselves, focusing within. Yes, I have a rubber band. So like every time we reach out there, if you reach out or express energy outward, of course it's going to come back. You have to come back to self. But putting something out there and being dissatisfied, being forced to come back, that's kind of what I'm noticing to some extent. But where we put ourselves out there, we need to be very considerate of what we are seeking back in return. Are you seeking external validation? Because everything that I am doing currently, any ways that I'm trying to, yes, I am using this rubber band as an example. If this is me here and I keep putting my energy out there, if I put my energy out there to make connection, I'm either not making connection or I am making connection, some connections that are like dissatisfying. And what happens, it just brings me back to self. And I'm like, all right, that's pretty solitary existence. And it's been something for me to really consider. So I use this rubber band because it reminds me a lot of something, and something specific. And I loop it because it sort of turns into that infinity loop, like the figure 8. But what it reminds me of is the pulling outward from the self and coming back in reminds me of the shape of the helix, like in our DNA, the structure, the double helix that is our genetic makeup. It's a code. All of these patterns by which we live are a form of code. So the coding that I'm putting out is of expansion and retraction, and repeat. And I feel like I am coming back to myself and extending myself less and less, because the farther out I extend is a representation of the more I need external validation. And as I've matured, obviously I've not needed to extend myself so much because I have the self-love, the confidence in myself to know that like what I'm doing for myself because it makes me happy. But the weird thing about it is it's like it's close to home, it's close to me, and I don't see myself actually putting myself out there that much anymore. And I kind of wonder if that's a shift for me personally, or if that's a shift in consciousness, or if, I always used to say I don't think that we were intended to be here living this life in solitude. So I am okay with solitude. I spend a lot of time by myself. But I think that part of being a human being is sharing in the human experience. Therefore, companionship and connection. And where I have spent so much of my time in solitude, I wonder if I shouldn't be spending more of my life in connection. And now, where I find myself pulling back into myself, I feel like I am withdrawing even more into the solitude, into the structure of self. And it just makes me wonder how I'm going to get from being balanced at my core to being able to push myself outward to make connections with others. And if they're all, they being extensions of self, mirroring back to me what I am, then there's a part of me that's like, well, then what's the point? I know the point is that we're here living this life and we're here to experience that. But on the other hand, there's definitely a part of me that has always longed for the stars, like longed for another place, another experience, another time, like one that is not this life of living as a human being. It is existence otherwise. What I'm saying is this is such a solitary experience, and if everything comes back to the self, you really have to put like a plan. I feel like this is what the energy is telling me, that like you have to put a plan into action, a plan in place to create like to create the experience, to shape the experience, to design the experience. And I actually went to design school and found that I was a very traditional person in terms of my designs, like the classic silhouettes, things that already exist, and pushing the limits of what, oh, I guess I didn't really make it clear. I went to design school for apparel design. So some of my peers were really creative and pushed the limits of the structure of a garment, whereas I prefer classic silhouettes. So I wasn't really inventive. I guess that's how I'll put it. So if we're creating, we're basically creating from that which already exists. And then there's not much new. Again, you really have to invest in that creation. You have to want to see something, and you have to like really turn on to come up with something new that will just blow your mind. And I think that's like something I'm really struggling with. I see my munchie over there, my little shorty. He's trying to get up on the post, and he's gonna do it. He can do it. It's like a 14-inch gap from one of the cat trees levels to the other one, and he's discovered he can pull himself up. He can't jump, but he can pull himself up there. And you know what? Like, that cat is so freaking determined. He's halfway up to the top now. I gotta help him with that level. Yeah, that cat is so determined. He has so much determination. I mean, he looks at things. If you teach him, he's teachable. If you give him some clues and some cues, like my cats are just getting rowdy right now. They just had dinner, whatever. But she teaches him things, and he watches. He's a little slow. I actually put it that way. But he is determined. Like, he will eventually figure it out. And if he sees a way being shown to him, he will take it. Yeah, I'm just rambling about my cat. But, like, honestly, that's the thing, though, is like, I need that too. I need that guidance. I need to be shown, like, oh, check out this thing because it's really freaking fantastic. And I'm like, I could zone out in the sand. I think sand is really pretty. The waves. I love sunsets. That's one thing I can really appreciate, is that every day the sunset is different. Every day the sun sets, but the sunset is different. The clouds, whether there are clouds in the sky or not, the atmosphere changes, the shape of the cloud changes, the way the light hits it, it refracts on the clouds, it varies, and it's so amazing and beautiful. It is like one of the Earth's greatest creations, because it's never the same. I think that's awesome. I like plants, but like, if I could get into imagination, if we could imagine some things being real, I don't know. I just feel a little lacking in creativity lately. What would I want to see in my life? Connection, healthy connection. Some time in nature, maybe. Anyway, that's for me to work on, I suppose. Like, put together a plan. Those things are achievable. Whatever's running through my head right now. But the magic, that's still beyond me. That's where the future lies, though, is in the magic. Anyway, I was just the helix. It's like coding, and I feel like we have an opportunity right now to play around with it, to alter that coding. Maybe mutate some genes, if you will. Take that metaphorically or as an analogy. But ultimately, and overall, the times that I'm reaching out, I'm just being reminded to check back into self. And that's okay, because we need to be balanced and really strong at the core. But it makes me wonder about this whole shift, because if everything out there is really in here, it doesn't really exist, or it's just a part of you, then what am I doing inside to make what I see on the outside, what I feel, what I experience on the outside, to be more magical, so that I can reflect that back to myself? And I think that's why I keep coming back to self, because I'm still in the designing process. I'm still trying to figure out exactly what I want and what I can have. I think I'm finished with the part of do I value myself enough to deserve what I want? Yes. But how do I manifest that into my reality in the external? How can I get there is kind of get from point A to point B, but really it's how do I get from point A to point Z and all the goodness in between. I'm still figuring that out, and that's okay. There was something else. There was one more point about, I've also noticed that, like I said, I consume a lot of content. And on the one hand, there's so much out there that I'm not aligning with it. I don't want to stick around for it. I'm either scrolling past it or clicking by it, whatever. There's certain genres that I'm into. But I'm finding that some subscriptions I have to certain channels, the person that hosts the channel is not putting material out, or they've just deleted their account. And I'm I think that's interesting. It's almost like it's watered down. It's losing its impact. And I think that's why some people are withdrawing from producing that which is in here. Also, the momentum and the focus of life and the energy right now is not in here, it's out there. Even though, as I've been saying, going out there, it may not be yielding much right now. It may not be satisfying, and it may continue bringing you back to self. But every time it brings you back to self, it gives you a chance to figure out the balance of what you like or dislike, so that you can focus more on bringing more of what you like into manifestation. But it does require the inward introspection, the sort of digestion is a better word, of what we feel, what we like, what draws us, where our attention is going, and do we want it to go there. Let's bring it inward, and then you try again, and you put yourself out there again, express yourself out into the world, reach out, try to make connections, and then you get your feedback and come back again to self. Because if you overextend yourself, that's where you're leading into attachment styles, like a neediness of the feedback from outside, the edge, the periphery. I'm not on camera, that's why I moved over. There is a boundary, a periphery, and if we reach too far beyond our boundary, then we come into an unhealthy place in seeking comfort, seeking validation, seeking recognition, just seeking from outside of ourselves. And that's why the pullback exists, because you need to find that in self first. But there is still an importance and value in connection. It's just how much you allow yourself to go there. Why is it valuable? Because it gives you, it gives you feedback. Even if that, it's like sad, even if that is the only reason it exists, is for the feedback. It's the feedback to tell you what you like and what you don't like. That's it. Because the rest is self. It's all part of your own manifestation. It's all part of your creation. If you're breaking down those barriers and like in the matrix, in the grid, you're recognizing the value of self, the importance of self, the divinity of self. It's all you. And therefore what out there is reflecting back to you is still all you. So if you go and meet with a group of people and you find that that's dissatisfying, I said dissatisfying. Yeah, if you go and meet with a group of people and it's dissatisfying, then why? That's something you have to work on within yourself. I just feel like it's a weird circumstance to be in. Like, this design, this world, is all our own creation. And I'm going to do another video about that. Thank you for coming to my channel, Compass Starlight.